After 2 hours of Bibles and blessings and so much energetic God save the kinging, the expression that I think of first is venerant and viderant and vicerant. They came, they saw, and my goodness, did the royal family ever conquer. On Saturday, King Charles became the 40th monarch anointed inside the almost 1,000-year-old building, Westminster Abbey. And as he was walking out, it became obvious that even though at times we thought he couldn't do it, he may have just pulled off the monarchical PR coup de grace to end them all. Maybe other royal houses have gotten all their glory by beating the French or showing the Prussians who's boss on the battlefield, but in the 21st century things are different, and it looks like the House of Windsor has just put on the kind of amazing show that is going to keep the monarchy going. First of all, we have got to talk about Catherine. I mean, my goodness, she looked amazing. She showed up in a Cinderella worthy Alexander McQueen gown and that beautiful floral headpiece that within just a few seconds, editors all around the globe were describing as iconic. And yes, it was. The king looked moved and he looked humbled by the whole thing. And then Queen Camilla kind of looked shocked to be there, which actually added a little bit of a human touch. It was quite sweet. Was it ever a show? I mean, that was a production unlike anything that anybody living today under the age of 80 years old has ever gone to see. I'm talking about the whole shebang, the trumpet fanfares, the gold coaches, the beautiful robes, the diamonds that were almost hilariously large, the pealing church bells and the bagpipes. I mean, sometimes maybe it was a little over the top, but isn't that what royalty is supposed to be about? And at the end of the day, it was incredibly moving. It was a ceremony that managed to bring together the ancient and the modern. For example, they used the 12th century coronation spoon, but also Queen Camilla's grandchildren took center stage. And in the next hours and days, millions of words are about to be spilled to go on about how amazing the entire ordeal was. But amongst all of that, there is one fact we cannot deny. Harry and Meghan have lost. Or to put it more accurately, the House of Windsor has won. What we have just seen may end up constituting an inflection point in the royal story, a moment of renewal, of rebirth, and perhaps even something like a new beginning. It's like some kind of titled Jurassic Park. The crown is going to always find a way. For a while, I mean, really years even, Meghan and Harry's exit posed a serious threat to the monarchy. Because what did it say about this institution that two of its star members found things so hard that they were willing to just throw it all away? Post Oprah questions about possible royal racism, about the firm's cold blooded disregard for some members of the firm, and rumors about just how far this organization would go to protect its heirs were rampant. But watching Catherine looking stunning as she was walking down the Abbey aisle, looking like a 21st century Roman goddess or maybe a Couture Britannia, and then watching a divorcee who loves Benson and Hedges cigarettes wear a crown, and watching the whole amazing spectacle of it all, something seemed obvious. The royal house has triumphed. For a while there, Meghan and Harry were showing up on TV screens and on podcasts to purge their grievances, and the royal family seemed like maybe they were a little out of step. It looked like they had been outmaneuvered. And a big part of the problem is this. Now, monarchies in the modern sense don't really look like a whole lot. They shake hands, they wave, they go out there and plant some trees maybe, but what the entire world got to see on Saturday was a truly breathtaking, spine-tingling display of everything that monarchy can be. A display unlike anything else in this world. So it looks like Meghan and Harry and their regular habit of going on primetime TV to whine have basically just become nothing more than a sideshow. Maybe it's entertaining, maybe it's juicy, but is it meaningful? Absolutely not. If you think about it a little too much, there is something that's ridiculous about a monarchy, but for 2 hours on Saturday, it was almost impossible not to get caught up in the wonder of it all. Now, okay, maybe a more cynical person is going to say they were just trying to entertain the masses with the palliative feel-good of a beautiful display. But still, I think it may have worked, or at least it went a long way to washing away some of the bad taste that people have had in their mouths recently when it comes to the royal family. What Charles and Camilla and William and Catherine have just done is arrest a lot of the brand decline of this hereditary throne business, at least for a little while. Now, maybe it's not going to be a permanent stay of execution, but at least for a little while, I do not think the royal family needs to worry about any guillotines or any moving trucks forcibly entering Clarence House. The Windsors are back to doing what they do best, wowing the world. And even though it was the king and queen who ended up with the crowns on their heads, the biggest star was certainly Catherine. Because you know what? She didn't stick to centuries of tradition and she didn't wear a tiara. Instead, she transformed herself into some kind of woman who seemed like she came from a different world, who seemed like not a part of history and time anymore, like some kind of goddess who blessed the whole earth with her presence. And what she managed to do in all of that was make the monarchy seem lovely again. Now, it's true, there are many people in the UK and around the world experiencing some really rough times right now. But what Catherine's coronation success really demonstrates is the awesome regenerative power of the monarchy. What the Windsors have just showed us is that ultimately they can get along just fine without Meghan and Harry. That despite everything that came with Megxit and Spare, lots of people are still going to stand in the rain just to catch a glimpse of them, and thousands of wet people are going to camp out for hours, if not days, to cheer them on. And what about Harry? Well, he was sitting there in the third row, like some kind of provincial Rotarian who may have raised a lot of money for charity for one of the king's favorite charities. While the royal family was forcing writers to find new ways to describe just what an amazing job they did on Saturday, well, Harry gave off the vibe that he was some kind of lost sheep, that he strayed off into the California wilderness a long time ago and he never found his way back home. So on Saturday, hours and hours after it all started, after tens and tens of thousands of people walked up the mall, their majesties and the Wales family stepped out onto the Buckingham Palace balcony, a beautiful image that is for sure going to be slapped all over mugs and tea towels. So what Catherine and company have just showed us is that the monarchy is still thriving. And what about those tea towels? Well, I think they're going to sell pretty well. And you, do you agree with the views in my video? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments section. If you think my video is interesting, please remember to like and share it with anyone else who would also enjoy it. And please subscribe.